TJ, to have a lean, sculpted, high-performance body that recovers immediately and can have any kind of specific output, you know, power, speed, explosive output, whatever you want to call on it, to be able to relax and recover and build the body back from heavy training or competition. How many calories, based on your age, your position, your training schedule, your genetics, you know, your heritage, how many calories do you need?
A day?
Yeah, a day.
Probably.
You're guessing. You're guessing right now, I can tell.
Yeah,
right?
probably maybe 5,000.
Yeah, maybe, guessing, right? How many grams of protein does your body need to rebuild muscle, tendons, ligaments, liver cells, eye cells, heart cells? Like, because that's what protein does, it rebuilds cells, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just muscle cells like everybody thinks. How many grams of protein does your body at your age, your training schedule, your heritage, your goals, how many grams of protein do you need?
190 to 200.
And what's that based on?
What is that based on?
Yeah. Why'd you come up with that number? Guess.
Well, it's kind of, I've always been told that, like, you eat the amount of protein that you want your weight to be.
Okay, close. You're pretty, yeah, that's pretty accurate actually, but at least we have a guideline for that. We don't for calories. I find it like remarkable that we're never taught this as athletes. If I took you right now to, you know, I'm into polo now, right? If I took you to my polo horse and the guy that's training her, and I said, how much hay, how much oats does she get on a daily basis? And on a game day or on a training day, and he tells me exactly how much alfalfa, how much timothy, how much grain, how much this, and if she's a little too hot and fiery, he pulls this back and pulls this. Exactly, for a horse. I guarantee you feed your dog the same every day based on his weight, and you kind of know what he eats, right? But we're not doing it for his athletes. We're not really dialing in the exact amount of calories our body needs to recover, fill up, gain, you know, perform, have energy for substrates, for short-term, long-term energy. It's kind of ridiculous we're not taught that.
Yeah.
Okay, and protein. So when it comes to the hierarchy of what's important to nail first, to master first, okay, there's really 5 things for nutrition. But number 1, number 2, and number 3, 4, and 5 are down here actually as far as importance. You gotta get this nailed first, regardless, okay? And most of us jump to this because this is the interesting thing, and it makes nutritionists sound smart, or trainers sound smart, so they always want to argue these points and give you nutrition plans with all this.
Yeah.
So what are these critical, most important things, you know, way more important than 3, 4, and 5? What are they? Other calories, and then protein needs of the athlete, of us too as well, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just regular executive guys and housewives and everything. We need to know this stuff. Okay, what our body functions best on. How many calories does it really require? If we had a race car, let's say you and I bought a lottery ticket and we won, and we said, you know what, and I'll use this analogy a couple times, you know, when we talk. Let's forget football, let's do something like just exotic and fun. Like, let's own a Formula 1 race car, yeah. Okay, we're gonna hire all the guys from Ferrari and Mercedes and Renault. We're gonna say, okay, TJ, you're in charge of hiring the pit crew, your dad and I are in charge of marketing and, you know, and travel and budget and all that. And we're gonna walk up to you and say, okay, you're the manager of the pit crew. Who's your fuel guy? Oh, that guy over there. And you're gonna ask him, okay, so how much fuel are you gonna put in the car? How many laps is that gonna give us before we have to make a pit stop? And what's your strategy? He's gonna go, I don't know, maybe 50 gallons? Just kind of like what you did, guessing,
yeah.
Right? What would you do? You'd fire him right there. Like, no, I want to know exactly how much fuel you're putting in that race car, how far that's going to get us before we have to refuel, right? Race car.
Yeah.
We're more complex than a race car, so we should probably be taking care of this, right? Okay. So calories and protein. So I've got formulas as long as there's room to figure this out. But it always works out to, I always like to simplify things so you guys can focus on what you do, all right? So calories, how are we gonna set this? So you know the rest of your life, athletic career and life, how to set your calories properly. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I want you calorie counting, but I do want you measuring for a couple weeks just to kind of understand what 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories looks and feels like. Mm-hmm. What a 700 calorie meal, 1,000 calorie meal looks like. Okay, so if we want to lose body fat at a fast rate, maintain our muscle and our metabolism as much as we can, Okay, so if I get a lineman in here that's 290 and he's too chubby, he needs to be 275. Okay, we're going to go body weight times 10 to 12 based on age and activity levels. We'll do that. Okay, if we want to maintain and just let the training build a little muscle and maintain, but we're going to maintain the weight pretty much. We just want to maybe lean up a little, put a little muscle on, right? It's going to be body weight times 13 to 15. If we want to gain muscle, gain mass, healthy mass, I'm talking good lean muscle, okay? Body weight 16 to 18 based on age, training. So if I want to lose weight, I'm training 3 days a week now, maybe 4. I'm older, so I'm gonna go body weight times 10. Okay. So let's just figure that out for you right now. Okay. What are you right now?
185.
185. So let's say we're gonna go 17. We'll go in the middle of the road, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
For calories. So 185 times 17. That's 3,200 calories minimum a day. So you're at 32 to 3,500 calories a day. That's 17 to 18 right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Protein. You were actually right. What I use as a calculation, and this you can argue with science, 1.8 per body weight, 1 point body weight, 1.2, all this kind of stuff, right? I make it real simple. 1 gram per body weight. Okay, so if you're 185, we're gonna get 185 and 190 grams. So you're right on that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we break this down? How do I break this down now so it's really doable for you? My system, which 85% of my athletes love, and 15% say, it doesn't really fit my lifestyle and the way I like to eat, and we make adjustments and we individualize, okay? My system is this. Meal 1, breakfast. Meal 2, lunch. Meal 3, super shake. With greens and fruit and protein and maybe fats or whatever you want, and meal 4, dinner. With a post-workout branch chains and maybe a little protein in there if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever you want to do with your post-workout, we make adjustments for that. So if we wanted to do this, you said, yeah, I could do that. Because athletes are training a lot, right? And some athletes, I personally, eating 5-6 meals a day is cumbersome. I'm not going to carry food around as a bodybuilder. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just cumbersome for me to eat. And the meals are smaller and it's kind of hungry all the time. But some guys love 5-6 meals a day. Most of my guys do this. Pro guys and collegiate guys and high school guys, right? Some guys, I've got athletes right now in the Diamond League, they're traveling, they just were from Shanghai to Oregon they're traveling, 2 weeks, 3 different countries. They're eating 2 meals a day, and they are shredded, lean, sculpted, high-performance athletes. Now, those 2 meals are 1,500 calories and 100 grams of protein, but that's all they have time for, and they plan for that, all right? And they're maintaining everything they need to maintain. And then when they're off season, they'll go to 4, okay? So we can adjust whatever. So if we did this, and let's say, we'll go 3,200 we'll go, okay? So 3,200 calories divided by 4 equals 800 calories a meal, all right? So if we did this evenly, you have an 800 calorie breakfast, 800 calorie lunch, 800 calorie super shake, 800 calorie dinner. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna make an 800 calorie shake. And I like a bigger dinner with my wife. I'm average size breakfast, average size lunch. So what I'll do, I'll do a 300, add 500 to dinner, maybe even steal 100 from here if I want, if I'm not going out to dinner and I want to just enjoy myself. I'll steal 200 from here, 200 from there. Amanda's actually really good at that. She will steal calories from her day when she's busy, so she can go out with her friends and have a nice dinner with the girls and maybe a glass of wine or champagne or whatever. But she knows at the end, she met her calories. She nailed it. Okay?
Yeah. And
then protein. So if we were going to go 190, if that's what we'll use that number for you. 190 is 4750. So, 48 grams of protein, 48 grams of protein, 48 grams of protein. Okay? Per meal. If you want a little less breakfast, you want to add to after dinner, I don't care. As long as you get it in at the end of the day. It's a budget. And the budget's a 24-hour budget. I'm gonna give you $3,400 to spend every day. You get to decide on what you spend, but you have to spend at least this amount on protein. Okay? And I'll explain how that works. So, and we can come up, I'll show you meals, and we'll come up with meals that you like. And I bet you most of your meals are close, and we just make a small little adjustment, and we're right in that range. Because I don't like changing too much. I don't like giving a guy a whole new meal plan, food he's never eaten before, times he's never eaten it before, and expect him to make change. Doesn't happen like that in our brain. You know what I mean? You can't create a habit like that. It's too much. You know, one thing at a time. But if I just say, well, your breakfast is 3 eggs, some oatmeal, and some berries, well, that's only 25 grams of protein. Well, why don't we add a little more protein and, you know, do this and make it in? Like, oh, that's all I gotta do? That's the meal I like? Actually, I like protein. I'd gladly add more. Okay, so we can figure that out for how to do that, okay? But this is critical to add all this up, okay, to do this. And just so you know, okay, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, okay? So if we're at 48, if we had 48 grams of protein at breakfast, that's the first thing I want you to put on your plate is protein to make sure that's measured out right, okay? Times 4, that's 192 calories are coming from protein. So now we got 608 calories. So what do I eat, Scott? Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Down here, 3, 4, 5, in order of importance.